Hey guys, so today I have this Wacker GP2500, which is a 2500 watt generator with a genuine Honda GX160 engine. Guess what? This one apparently has a fueling problem because very hard to start and apparently will only run off starting fluid. So let's get it inside and take a look. Well, I guess before we take it inside, we might as well see if it's going to run. Generator I see is already in the on position. I did check to see if it had oil, and it has oil because it started to run out. And when I was carting it home, I could hear fuel sloshing around in here. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to drain that out too. I don't think it's gonna run off this fuel. Doesn't smell like gasoline, but we'll see when we drain it. Could be the tank as well that stinks. So let me pull this air box. Give it a couple shots of Cosby sauce, and let's see how it goes. Alright, let's spray a little bit of Cosby sauce in there. Here we go. I would say it runs. Okay guys, got it inside on the bench. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Well, it looks like they left the fuel valve on. Let's turn that off. There we go. And then let's drain out the carburetor 10 millimeter. Ooh, that's tight. There we go. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty nasty fuel. Oh yeah, it's nasty. With lots of water and rust. Oh boy. That's absolutely putrid. I have a feeling this carburetor is going to need to be replaced. I hope not. I hope it'll be okay and easy to clean up. But judging by that, I don't think so. I really don't think that's a pretty bad omen. There we go. That's back on. So I'm just going to get the vacuum, quickly clean up some of these cobwebs and dust. And then we'll get the air filter and pull that carburetor and have a look inside the bowl. Okay, loud noise is imminent. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Let's get this air cleaner apart. Okay, we just got to get these 5/16 bolts out. Oh, lovely. There's now fuel leaking out of the air filter housing. Yeah, I'm really concerned about that bowl now. That means it's been leaking out and may have gotten into the engine as well. And probably down into the oil and crankcase. That is fantastic. Ugh, and it absolutely stinks. It's a good thing me guys don't have smell-o-vision, because honestly, you would not be very impressed with this smell. It's terrible. There we go, last one. 10 mil. And I got one 10 mil around the back here. There we go, last one. This should just come right off, unless I'm missing one. Feels like I'm missing one. I am. This one right here. It's hiding behind the hose. See if I can get that one. There we go. Almost couldn't get in there because of the frame was in the way. Now we should be able to get this off. Hanging up. It's hanging up on. Looks like it's hanging up on a clip. It's just being held up by this fuel line here. There we go. It's off now. The air cleaner housing. I'm going to pinch off this fuel line just in case there's still any fuel left in it. I don't want it spilling out all over the place. It really stinks. That should be holding it. There we go. Beautiful. There's a little bit of fuel left in the end. Let's take this clamp off. I'm going to drain a little bit of fuel out of the tank into this cup. See what we've got in the tank. I think we've got relatively fresh fuel in this tank. Let me get a clean cup. Just going to drain some fuel into this little cup. That seems like fairly fresh fuel, actually. Looks really fresh. So I'll probably drain out what's left. Just run it quickly through a coffee filter. And probably just dump it into my car to be quickly burned off. And then we can try it with some brand new gasoline and see if this thing will fire up once I get this carburetor cleaned out. Let's get this breather tube out of the way. And I'll take this carburetor off. Go, governor arms out. And the surge spring. It's my needle nose for that. But I'm a little stunned. There we go. There we go. Carburetor's free. I'm going to pull this apart and pop it into the ultrasonic cleaner. If I see anything special about this bowl or carb, I'll be sure to turn on the camera and let you have a peek at it. Hey, look at that. A red subscribe button. So if you guys made it this far in the video, hit that subscribe button and also give it a thumbs up. Now on to more. Okay guys, well, as soon as I got here, I took one look at that bowl nut. I tried to get it off by hand and said, nope, I'm gonna need the gun. So when I saw that, I thought I might as well turn on the camera because it looks like this one's gonna be interesting. So 10 mil socket. Let's get this one off. Yeah, it's a fair amount of rust on there. I wonder what the bowl's going to look like. Let's take a look. Ooh, that sounds crunchy. Oh, boy. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. What a mess. Look at that. What an absolute disaster. That's just horrible. Oh. Oh, man. I'm going to try to clean it up. I don't know how much faith in this. Let's take a look at the rest of the carb. Okay, so the pin moves freely. Get the float off. Float needle. Well, the needle doesn't look terrible, actually. This might clean up okay. I'm worried about these jets. I'm going to try to get the main jet out. All right, let's try to get the main jet out. Oh, it's coming. Maybe there's hope for it yet. I'm just going to look through it. Unfortunately, it's definitely plugged. I just pointed it towards my little light and I couldn't see anything through it. So it's definitely plugged. So good thing it came out. It's going to push out the emulsion tube. Maybe. There it goes. The holes actually seem clear. Maybe not the bottom ones. Let's get the pilot jet out. This is just the idle screw. Here's the pilot jet under here. It should just lift up fairly easily. But this one's going to make a liar of me. There we go. Here's the pilot jet. So I'm going to get all this in the ultrasonic cleaner and get all this all tidied up, and then when that's all done, I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. Look at this. Look how well that cleaned up. It's quite remarkable if you ask me. I didn't honestly think it was going to clean up anywhere close to this. It looks really good. I don't see why this won't be able to run the engine. Carburetor, same thing. A little bit of staining on some of the parts. So from that, it looks really good. All the passages are clear. I sprayed them out with Carb Clean just to make sure, and everything seems to be going pretty good with it. The main jet, unfortunately, is still clogged, so I'm just going to pick it out. Just going to use some torch tip cleaners. There we go. Look at that. That's what was stuck in the main jet right here. Big old piece of rust. Just going to switch to a slightly larger one. See what just fits in the hole. Not that one. Try this one. Yeah, that just fits in the hole. And it just picked out a bunch more gunk from it. One size larger, which would be this one here. Let's try that. There. Now I'll just make sure it's nice and clear. There we go. And there you go. You can now make out that it's very clear. All right, let's get this reassembled. Emulsion tube in. Main jet. There we go. It's nice and snug. Now the needle and float. Reinstall the pin. Bowl. Put in the bowl nut. Now we'll get the drain in. Tighten these down off camera just because I don't have my 10 mil here. Pilot jet. Okay, this gasket wants to come off, so just to prevent ruining it, I'm going to set it aside. Okay, so the pilot jet doesn't want to seat yet, so I'm going to try turning it 180 degrees. See if it wants to sit that way. Yes, it does. Okay, so now we put in the idle set screw, and we're just going to screw it in so it just touches the throttle arm. Take the gasket. It'll get placed back on like this, and the choke lever gets put back on. Now it's ready to go back onto the generator. Okay, well, let's get this old fuel out. There we go. Turn the valve on. Yeah, this will be a few minutes. Get all that water. All right, moving on to the next bottle now. Yeah, it just seems to need a little bit of extra help to get going. That might be it for fuel and water out of that thing. Try tilting it to that one corner. Here comes some water. I have to put this down. I think that's it. I'll have to say one thing. That was a fair amount of water that came out in these. Look at all that water in there. All right, let's get this carburetor on now. Go. Route the fuel line on. Actually, let's leave the fuel line off because I'll put a temporary line on it instead. Okay, so now we just need to tighten up the bowl nuts. Okay, let's tighten up these bolts quickly on the bowl. Tighten the drain.
Hello?
Hi. There we go. Now the air cover. Get the hose in. Get these two 10mm nuts on. First one. Second one. Let's tighten these down. Click. One more. And click. Okay, we'll zip this on for 5/16. These ones you just snug up. They're just screwing into plastic. There we go. Filter. And finally the cover. Okay, before we take it outside, let's just give it a quick oil change. 10mm drain plug. Oh, this is going to make a mess. Let me get something. There we go. Put a card in there. There we go. Hopefully This won't be too messy. Let's try that again. 10 mil. Go. And here comes the oil. Perfect. Right, we'll let that drain. And I'll be back in a few minutes when that's finished draining out. All right, looks like it's done draining. There we go. Now I just have a small confession to make. I don't know if you've noticed, it is a little bit cleaner, but there was a lot of oil in here and I wasn't sure where it was all coming from, but it's pretty obvious that it's actually coming from whenever you're draining the oil, because even when I was using that card to deflect the oil, as you can see, it all ran down right along here. I wanted to make sure that it was just oil from draining it and filling it, as opposed to possibly an active oil leak. So I'm going to give it a bit more of a cleaning. I just need to order some brake clean to actually properly clean it. But the fill hole is actually on the other side. Now they do have one right here, but the other one is a lot easier to access. So I'm going to move the camera around to the back. This way you guys can have a view of me pouring the oil back in. All right, let me do that. See you in a sec. All right, let's get the oil funnel in. Now the Honda manual for this engine says that it takes 0.6 liters or 600 milliliters or this many in Freedom units of oil. And since I know there's going to be a little bit left on in the sump, I'm going to put it to about 580 and then check the level. Get 600 milliliters of oil measured out. There we go, it's about 575. We'll pour that in first and then we'll check the level. I'm going to open up the cap back here and allow it to breathe. Now we'll check the level. I would say it's full. Okay guys, so that's all back together and we can get this thing outside and give it a test. Let's see what this little generator can do. And hopefully this time it starts on the first pull. Not like that last one with the MTD mower. This one up here, which Still, right now, I haven't gotten a chance to test the bale to see if 100% that's the problem, because that is what I'm leaning towards. But if you haven't seen that video, check out the link in the description below, or click this card and it'll take you to the playlist for that particular mower. But yes, hopefully this one will start on first or second pull, and we'll be able to test it out to its rated load, which is 2,000 watts. And we'll see if this generator can actually handle its full rated load. So next time you see it, it'll be outside. So we're outside now, but unfortunately it's raining a little bit. If it gets too bad, then obviously I'm going to have to cut the video and take it inside until it stops and then try again. But I've got the temporary fuel on. I've got the fuel clamp on it. And all I got to do right now is get the spark plug wire on, let the fuel in, and give her a pull, see what happens. So let's get started. Spark plug wire. Let's get the fuel flowing. Engine on. Give it a pull. Choke on. But yes, hopefully this one will start on first or second pull. Right now it seems to be running at half choke. Surging. See if I can run it without choke. I'm just trying to clear out if there's anything in the carb. I wanted to see if it'll clear out. Hopefully you don't need to replace it. If not, then I'll order one. Just holding the throttle at the moment, but it doesn't seem to want to run without choke. I'm going to try taking the air filter off, see if that helps. Didn't help at all. Definitely not getting enough fuel. Let's see if we can at least test it out a little bit and see what it can do. Not getting any voltage at the moment, but it is running. I wonder why I'm not getting any voltage. That can't be right. I'm gonna have to get that carburetor running properly to see if we can get this volt, and then adjust the AVR to see if we can get the voltage under control. Just gonna run the carburetor dry. I think it's finally out of fuel. Let's make sure. Yeah, I think she's finally out of fuel. Alright guys, so this video is getting a little long. So I'm gonna cut it here. We'll turn it into a two-part. I'll get the carburetor off. If I need to order a new one, I'll order a new one. And we'll see how it goes with either a clean carb or a new one. Then we'll get it completely reassembled, properly cleaned up, and test it and see if we can get that AVR all sorted out. But at least we know it generates power and the engine runs even if it's on basically half choke. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Alright, first things first, let's get this air filter off. Next, let's get these 4 5/16 bolts out. Three 10mm tube nuts, 1 bolt. 1 nut here, 1 nut here, and 1 bolt back here. Let's get those off. Unclip the fuel line. There we go. Let me just take it out. Disconnect the air hose. Unclip the fuel line. There we go. Now we take off the carburetor. Remember, I said that I would put that gasket back on. I put that gasket back on. and down it goes onto the ground. Here's the old carburetor. Now comparing them side by side, the one on the right is new. They actually seem pretty similar, if not almost identical, except the one on the right is fully adjustable, whereas the original from Honda is not. That screw is not adjustable, or that brass one is. So let's get the new one on and see how it runs. Oh my god, my hands are stunned. Just can't get this one on. There we go. Now the 4 5/16. Air filter. Housing cover. Perfect. All done. I want to check that spark plug though. I seem to have been having a bit of a run lately with bad luck with spark plugs that are incorrect for the generators, or they're fouled up, or they're Chinese replacements. So I want to check this spark plug, make sure that we've got the right spark plug, and go from there. So let's get this spark plug wire off. 22mm spark plug socket. All right, so we've got an NGK at least. Looks pretty clean. Double check the gap. But this is wrong. BPR5ES, this is the incorrect plug for this generator. Should be a BPR6ES. This one actually runs a little too hot for this generator. I'll see if I've got one, but at least it's an NGK and not torch. So I'll at least give them credit for that. It's not a torch. I do have a brand new torch plug that did come with that carburetor, but although this is the correct one, I'd sooner stick with the NGK, although the NGK is the incorrect one as well, considering it burns too hot for that one. So I'm going to have to replace it, but at least this technically is the right plug. But I'm still going to use the NGK over this. Okay, so let's check the gap on this. Oh dear. Yeah, that's a little bit open. Should be no more than 0.03. Could be as small as 0.028 all the way up to 0.3. So let's close this one down. So to shrink the gap, we're just going to tap it against a block of wood. A little bit too much. We'll just open it a bit. And check again. Open it a bit more. Check again. And check again. And there we go. That's good there. 22mm spark plug socket. There we go. Get the wire back on. So we're just about all done. All we got to do now is get this unit outside, and we can see if this new carburetor has made all the difference, and we can get this unit running again. All right, guys, let's take it outside. Hey, look at that, a red subscribe button. So if you guys made it this far in the video, hit that subscribe button and also give it a thumbs up. Now on to more. Okay, we're outside under some absolutely beautiful sunny skies. Look at that beautiful blue. It's all you can see all around. Beautiful blue skies. It's nice for a change. Just 2 days ago, which was Saturday, we actually had rain, snow, hail, sleet, more rain, and then we had cloud cover, and then some absolutely beautiful sunny skies. We had every type of weather there was, basically, in one day. It was great. All right, let's get back to the video. So we're all set up outside. All that's left to do is turn on the fuel and try it out. Right, engine on. Spark plug wire on. Maybe. If it wants to go. Oh, I didn't want to go on. There it goes. Choke on. Fuel on. All right, I'll give it a few minutes to fill the bowl. All right, looks like it stopped accepting fuel, and there's still some in the tank. All right, let's give it a pull. Nope, gonna have to stop. Apparently it's developed a fuel leak. It actually developed a fuel leak right here, right where it connects up to the carburetor, and was dripping down. So this line's a little bit too big. Let me get a smaller line. Stop it, Zeus. Sorry about that. There we go. The other fuel line on. Oh, that one's no better. That one's actually worse. I'm gonna have to find some fuel line for this. Nice. Take that off. Put this fuel line on. Much better. There we go. I had to fight with the clip. I apologize if I'm blocking your view. Oops. Great. There we go. Got it on. All right. Let's turn the fuel back on. There. Be surprised if this goes on. There. That should hold it. Now I just need another stand for my fuel tank because now the hose is too short. I'll be right back. Never does go smooth. Okay, so let's turn the fuel on again. Make sure there's no other leaks. Okay, I'm not seeing any yet. So that's a good sign. Okay, so let's give it a pull. Okay, choke is off. Choke is off completely. I think it's just out of fuel. I think it all leaked out. New carb is running perfect. I'm gonna let it run and get nice and warm. Then we'll start putting it under load. Plus we'll also adjust the voltage, make sure everything's good. I'm also gonna add some more fuel to the tank. Just gonna wash my hands, I'll be right back. I gotta fix the connection in the plug. Here we go. 124 volts. All right. Let's give her a little bit of load. Let's put it up to 1500. Oh, there we go, 1500 watts. Little bit of a stutter, but it took it right, no problem. All right, so this hairdryer is rated for 18 at high. So let's put it on low. That's probably about 2000 watts there. We'll switch this part medium. Alright, let's see it at high. There we go, full load. That's running under full load, no problem. Absolutely purring like a kitten. Went from a non-running generator that looked terrible, put a new carburetor on, and look at it. Running absolutely perfect. All right, let's see it's restart. No choke. Okay, choke on. Sounds like it might be running a little bit slow, to be honest. I'm just going to double check. I'm going to hook up my tachometer. All right, let's see if I get anything on this. Oh no, she won't start. Oh, yeah, turn on the engine, Mike. No, maybe I was wrong. I'm going to turn it up a little bit, get it up to 3,600. Very touchy. There we go, seems to be holding there. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to put it under low. Let's see what happens. All right, let's start at 1,500. Okay, let's turn off the fuel and we'll let it run dry. Smooth it out a bit with soap. Definitely running out of fuel now. Well, there you have it. It runs very well. I just have one question. If I put the original carb back on there after I gave it another cleaning, will it still run? Maybe I should quickly do that. So what the heck? I have it right here. Let's give it a whirl. There we go. That's the new one, the original OEM. Dirt in the threads. Doesn't want to go on. Can't quite grip it with my fingers. The hose is in too much of the way. There we go. Much better. All right, that's all back on. Let's just add the fuel tank and let's try it out. Okay, let's just let the fuel out. There we go. It's now flowing and filling in the bowl. I forgot the choke. I forgot to put the choke lever on. All right, give me 1 sec. Okay, that crisis is averted. Now the choke lever's back on. And on. Engine's on. Let's give her a pull. Choke's off and she's surging. Not as bad though. Oh, there it goes. That's unfortunate. So it looks like the old carburetor 100% is no good now. So I'll turn off the fuel right down near the carburetor. Let it run out and we'll put the new one back on. I'm just going to let it run out of gas. All right, I'm going to put the new carb back on. Now this time, let's not forget the choke lever. Choke lever. Air filter box. Go. Now the bottom screw. Sorry, bottom bolt. Now for a few giggles, let's give it a fire one more time. That's it, run till the bowl's empty. Well, that's it, guys. It's all done. Unfortunately, my other camera died. Battery died in it. Not surprising. It's nothing new with that one. So, I'm not sure how much was missed, but yeah, that's it. It's all done. She ran really, really well. I can't actually believe how long it ran after I took the fuel off. But not too bad. We went from a generator that wouldn't start to one that looks half decent, good enough to sell, and runs very well. Obviously generates the full potential of the 2500 watts without any kind of trouble whatsoever. So yeah, this is a very, very good generator. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Better not forget this time. Let's turn it off. Clamp off. Or not. Absolutely stunned. Yeah, I'm just stunned. I'm gonna get a different pair of pliers. Stop the pin. Oops, completely missed. Nice. It's rated load, which I think is 2000 amps, or sorry. All that water. Ooh, here's looking at you, kid. Infinite looking. Looking at you, looking at me, looking at you, looking at me, looking at you, looking at me, looking at you, looking at me. Oh, you're still recording. Ha, look at that. Dun, 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 dun. Still recording. Look. Oh, oops. Accidentally left it on. Alright, guys. That's it. It's all over.